Call the meeting of the March 4th Common Council to order. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call.
Strobush.
Here.
Riemenschneider.
Here.
Van Blaricom.
Here.
Isaacson.
Here.
Vicker.
Here.
Flannum. Here. Leonard.
Here. Okay, to start out the meeting, we have public comment, and I think there's a couple people here with public comment and public announcements. So, Woody, would you want to, why don't you stand right there, get started?
Oh, thank you.
Just have a little bit of something for you to look at. I'll be brief. Yeah. Good evening to the council and the mayor and public. My name is Woody McBride. I live in Apple River Township, and I've been working with the city over the past year to inaugurate a new summer concert series that's going to happen on Wednesday. I'm just here to check in. I haven't seen you in a while, but we're pretty much ready to go, and we'll do a formal announce next month. And also, I wanted to give you an update that my family and I, we're still working on revitalizing the Amery Classic Theater project, and we had taken a close look at it last fall, and after a discovery process, the repairs were a little bit big, pushed it out of reach for the time being, but we've regrouped and sought some supplemental financing, and it's close again. So I should have a formal presentation for you next month about that as well.
Cool. All right.
I don't have one for everybody, but Summer Wednesdays is going to happen in 2020, June through August. Every Wednesday there'll be a new cool summer concert series, family entertainment, happening at the Pavilion, 6:30, and the schedule will be announced formally next month. We'll have everything, all styles of music, kids and family night. We're going to partner with the police department to have 3 movie nights, and we're working in tandem with the community club a little bit on their summer Fridays, Music on the River, and sure appreciate the city wanting to support this project. It's going to be a real fun one. So, I think we're in public comments, so you don't have anything to say for me, but next month you will, and feel free to reach out if you have any feedback about what I've teased you with tonight. This is about 99% ready to go. We'll be adding a few local performers as opening acts and listing a few sponsors and food vendors that'll be using the event as a fundraiser. So all in all, thanks a lot, and we'll see you next month.
Okay, thanks, Woody. Mr. Simonson, would you like to?
Good evening. My name is Michael Simonson. I'm a 5th grade teacher at the Amery Intermediate School, and I have 3 fantastic kids from my class in front of me. I have Keaton Wallen, I have what's your name? Sophia Tranum, and I have Addison Gould. I have 20 great kids, and these are 3 of them, and they want to share a project that we've been working on and explain what we've planned and created. So I'm going to let them take it away for just a little bit.
We're wanting to do a Amery to Amery donation drive. We want to do it because there is major flooding in Mississippi, and since Amery is our sister city, we want to help them.
Knowing that they are having major flooding, we would like to collect socks, toilet paper, deodorant, soap bars, toilet, and toothbrushes.
The location drop-offs are the four schools, the elementary school, the intermediate school, the middle school, high school. and City Hall, and dental arts.
So we're going to be, that'll be taking place next week, the 10th through the 14th. All donations of those items are welcome. New items would be appreciated. The kids, we've been talking a little bit, and they wanted me to share, my class wanted me to share this, that we in Amery have a unique opportunity. There's not many cities that have a sistership relationship with other cities in a different region in the United States. My class talked about how we'd like to see more community members reach out to Amery, Mississippi. Some examples are, they thought of these examples of our hospitals connecting in some way, our city having an Amery, Mississippi Day proclaimed, a high school exchange of nicknames for a week or so. So they would be the Warriors and we'd be the Panthers. We talked about community floats. We make an Amery, Mississippi float. We gather, research and information. We create an Amery, Mississippi float that's displayed and paraded down our route during our fall festival, and they would do the same with an Amery, Wisconsin float. Another one would be taking a vacation, like a tour bus with an agency, a travel agency, and having people sign up to take a trip down to Amery, Mississippi, like during the week of between Christmas and New Year's, or during our spring break, where people could sign up, and they'd pay a fee, and we'd take a whole group down to Amery, Mississippi. It's a unique opportunity. It's a great opportunity to learn from them, and they learn from us. These kids are just, I'm going to share, I texted the mayor of Amery today, and I told him what the kids were doing tonight and the plans they've had, and he emailed back to me and said, please tell the kids that they are special and amazing group of students that are going to be productive adult members of their communities with hearts of servants, and their ideas are great. I can't wait to hear more. I hope all is well there. I've declared Amery, Mississippi to be little Seattle, haha. It's rained at least 3 days a week here since December, every week. Apparently we're going to have a long, hot, dry summer. Please tell the students and citizens of Amery my best, give them my best. So I just wanted to share that. I'm going to share that with the kids tomorrow morning. The kids have done great things the last few years. I know our shirt sale didn't go as well last year as we had hoped, but we worked hard, and this year they had a great idea to do this. It was a little different, and they wanted to share it with you tonight. So next week there's a donation drive. 4 schools, dental arts, and City Hall will be drop-off places for those items that are needed. Any questions for any of these 3?
Cool.
Great.
Thank you.
You can learn like a panther. Okay, let's continue on with public comment. Any other public comment? Come forward to the podium, and we give you 3 minutes.
My name is Erin Hosking, and I have some of my children here with me today. We use the library frequently, and we appreciate the beautiful space that we have here at the library, as well as the many programs that are offered at the library. I do have concerns about how the decision was reached to move the library and to sell the space to the hospital, but tonight I'm coming specifically to ask you to consider when you're going to require the library to move. The summer is a really busy time at the library. Lots of families are using the library all summer long, and we are one of those families that are there frequently during the summer. Erin Hunter, the Youth Services Librarian, plans many wonderful summer programs and different events, and I don't want to see those get canceled because there is not a space to hold those events. Erin plans events almost weekly where a presenter comes in. Everything from magic, pirates, snakes, dance, We like to attend those events, when then we play at the library, we check out books, we do all of those things at the same time. And I would like to see those events being held at the library this summer. I don't see how that will be possible if they're moving the library and if there is no space available for several weeks. I don't even see how Erin can plan those events right now. She should be starting to plan those events and book those presenters, and she doesn't know what this summer looks like. She doesn't know where she will be or if she has space. And last summer, the library partnered with the Amery School Nutrition Program to offer lunches, free lunches to the kids once a week. They went outside and had a picnic and played in the green space outside of the library. And Erin can't make plans for that right now with the school nutrition program because she doesn't know what this summer is going to hold. She doesn't know where they're going to be. So I see a lot of disruption in what the summer library programs and the events that they hold. So I would like you to consider not moving the library this summer. I really don't want to see the library housed in the basement of Bremer Bank at all, not even for a short time. The plan I've heard is to have the library in the basement for at least 5 months while the bank is still in operation. And then the building would need major work done upstairs. And the basement is not sufficient for the library's collection as well as the programs and events. Not only summer events, but story time, play and learn, which moms and kids we're using the library space every week for play and learn. The different youth programs, my kids attend a lot of the different youth programs there, and I can't see us being able to attend those programs or having those programs in the basement while the bank is in operation or while the bank is closed upstairs. So if the library has to move, I would really like you to consider waiting and really waiting until the space is remodeled and prepared for the library, for the collection, the services, the organization, everything that the library does and all the people that they serve. And I'd like for that space to be ready for them before you move them. Would you like to say anything? Weston or Zachary? They had something prepared, but I think they're deciding not to speak. But thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, Erin. Let's move on to communications from the Polk County Sheriff's Office. We got a letter here from Lisa McMahon, Emergency Management Coordinator. Dear Mrs. Bjorklund, I'm writing this letter to recognize a good deed that went above and beyond regular duties of the city in service to fellow residents. When a water main broke inside a trailer court in Amery, outside of city jurisdiction, many families were left without water to drink, shower, or flush toilets for several days. Bones McCarty, Public Works Director, along with the staff, took it upon themselves to see that these residents had safe drinking water in this emergency situation. Not just once, but twice, starting quite late in the day on Friday and then again on Saturday. They personally delivered bottled water to these residents. Also in contact with the County Emergency Management Office, he passed along vital information on how to call for other help through 211, a new service, and how to report the problem to state authorities. I want you to make sure you are aware of the selflessness of Bones and his crew last week, and that the Emergency Management and Sheriff's Office appreciates the strong working relationship we have with your city. Sincerely, Lisa McMahon. Thanks, Bones. Crew?
Good job.
Let's see. I got another letter from actually my old neighbor, Betty Tomasek, and I said I'd bring this up at this meeting. Could you please give an update on my request last fall dealing with changes Waterman Disposal had made in billing charges for new contract with the city, reminding you that charging the same fee for the smallest waste container as the larger is just plain greedy. Many of my widow friends also angry and disgusted. Paying more now, yet contributing no more garbage in our small container than if we use the next size up. Is Waterman's plan an attempt to eliminate the smallest size container? yet the smallest size easily holds what we generate in waste each week. During the winter months, not even bothering to put out for pickup each week. Also, the smallest container is easier for us in handling. Even before Vic passed away, we didn't generate enough waste to keep the next size up. Keep in mind, the people sending a lot of waste each week are the ones filling up the trucks the fastest, thus requiring the extra trips to disposal place. Come on, Paul, you and the council need to revisit the contract with Waterman and make it fair for all. We went through this, I went through this personally with Betty, and we talked about this as city council. Waterman's had a rate raise. The last one was 25 years ago in 1994, 1995, and they raised it from $12 to $17. If you take that $12 and put it in $1995 and put it in $2020, it's actually $22. So this is kind of a deal. I would look forward to another increase in rates from him because he's not keeping up with inflation. But that being said, we haven't come up with a way to measure waste by the pound. So if people pay more for more waste, it's just much simpler to do a one pickup, one charge for everybody. Any other comments from anybody on the council?
Did you have something from another community as far as their?
Oh, Osceola is charging $24 a week for the same service, so.
A month.
A month for the same service. So we are below. What's going on?
Vendor Waterman's?
No, no. So as we move forward here, okay, officers report. Patty.
Good evening, council and members of the audience. We've had kind of a busy month. Testing was done on 4 of the electronic voting machines, and that's known as pre-lat and public test, and that was done on February 10th in preparation for the spring primary, partisan primary that was held on February 18th. The primary drew 371 voters, of which 14 were election day registrations. There were 68 absentee voters, and total paper ballots were 73 and 298 on the touch screen, electronic voting on those machines. The winners of that election were Representative in Congress District 7 Democratic Tricia Zunker with 137 votes, Representative in Congress District 7 Republican Tom Tiffany with 101, Justice of the Supreme Court Daniel Kelly with 193. I've been attending Design Amery meetings throughout the month of February in preparation for the Design Amery weekend, which will be held on April 2nd through April 4th. I have attended various meetings with the Environmental Services Committee at Polk County Government Center regarding Stour 7 Lakes Trail uses. At those meetings, the Stour 7 Lakes Trail, try saying that fast, Stour 7 Lakes Trail Master Plan for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources was reviewed. Tool Design had administered that plan. There was discussion about allowing snowmobiles and equestrian horseback riding in combination with other current uses, such as snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, bike, and walking. At the February 19th, 2020 meeting, the ESC set a public hearing on the draft master plan and recommended uses. The public hearing will take place on Monday, March 16th at 6 p.m. at Unity High School Performing Arts Center to give parties a right to appear. They can do so verbally or written, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. During the public hearing, comments and changes to the plan are made. SEH has been working closely with the City of Amery in conducting the inspection of the current Bremer Bank building. The inspection of the building took place on February 26th. We should hear results of that inspection tomorrow. And we can decide if the inspection will allow the purchase of the Bremer Bank building, which will take place on March 9th, if the inspection is satisfactory. The next step will be the planning phase. On Monday, March 2nd, I, along with Mayor Paul Isaacson, Management Analyst Deputy Clerk Ben Jansen, and Alderpersons Chad Leonard, Rick Van Blaricom, George Fowler of Lincoln Township, he's a representative, Ace Carlson and Lee Jones, Blackbrook was George Fowler, Lincoln was Ace and Lee. The purpose was to decide what steps to take to either become a fire association, district or commission or committee. The city of Amery will confer with the city's attorney, and the towns will confer with their town attorney to discuss which option would work the best for the municipalities. A meeting will take place after those results come in. I, along with Ben, our management analyst and deputy clerk, as well as other representatives, have been attending civic web training. We are updating the website and are excited on the new design and changes. And I, along with Ben, have been working on completion of the new code for the city. It's rather large. We'll be working closely with all committees and council to meet the deadline for changes, which will be probably late July, early August. And then we can go forward with the completion. So, any questions? Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Patty. All right, Ben?
Good evening, everybody. Well, Patty stole two of mine.
Okay.
So I'll go with, let's see, February 20th, I went with Rick and Bones to Huff Cut Concrete in Chippewa Falls. They make modular, I couldn't think of the word, modular concrete bathrooms, and we were looking at them as one of the possibilities to replace the North Park bathrooms. We had the auditors from Clifton Larson Allen here last week. It seemed to go well, so hopefully we'll have the results late April, early May. And then we finally begun the downsizing process on our records room, where we had oodles and oodles and oodles of stuff. Special thanks to Jeff for helping yesterday with that. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Ben. The police, February police reports on the table over there, as Chief Tom is not here. Fire chief report, do you have something to report, Eric?
Sure. Assistant Fire Chief report. Dale is, Chief Kaler is recovering after shoulder surgery. So I've risen to my level of incompetence here. A couple of announcements. We're doing the annual pancake breakfast, the fire department pancake breakfast, and it coincides with the Easter egg hunt, April 11th. That's always a good time, so make sure you attend. Chief Dale Kaler attended MABUS State Conference last week. MABUS is Mutual Aid Box Alarm System. And that was a 2-day conference, and he's very involved in the Polk County Chiefs Association organizing our MABUS locally. And what that basically is if there's major, major fires, major emergencies, we're going to have set protocols in place to pull resources from other departments. A little more in depth than the old mutual aid. It's going to be a more organized response to large events. And with that in mind, also we just had a DNR guest trainer on Monday. As you all know, that storm came through up north, and there's a ton of fuel laying on the ground in the form of trees knocked over. So they're already identifying pretty major concerns with wildland fires. And so the DNR came and trained us on how to respond and cooperate if there's some big wildland fires in that blowdown area. As Patty talked about, there are discussions moving forward to, change Amery Fire to possibly a fire commission, fire district, fire board. We don't know how that's going to look, but we look forward to working cooperatively and sharing opinion on that. And then finally, part of our budget funding comes from 2% dues. And what this 2% dues is it's all the insurance companies in the state of Wisconsin that give 2% of their profits into this fund. That fund goes out to community fire departments in an attempt to prevent fires, pay for fire safety, fire education, that sort of thing. The state has tightened up their process on keeping track of that money in the form of an audit. They audited loosely in, I think, 2016 or 17, and we passed. They audited this time, and we did not pass. Our equipment, haul, manpower, all that looked good. The place where we did not pass is we're required to do fire inspections twice a year on certain things in our fire district buildings, businesses, nursing homes, hospitals, schools. And we have 179 of those in our fire district. And we only had the time and manpower to do those fire inspections once this year. So I think Dale has offered the city council an ordinance, or asking the city council to consider an ordinance changing the fire inspection requirement to 1 year. If the city does an ordinance, that overrides the state's requirement. So either we have to look at much more budgeting to pay an inspector, or we have to look at lowering the requirement to once a year, or as needed with, if there's additions, remodeling, that would call the need, but otherwise just once a year inspection. So I don't see anything on ordinances, but I think Dale said he offered something to be considered, so that would be the final thing from fire. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Amy?
Good evening, council and members of the community. As usual, we have lots going on at the library coming up, so I'd just like to highlight a few of those things. So Family Game Night will be next Thursday, March 12th at the Village Pizzeria. All ages are welcome at 5:00 p.m. Story times are every Wednesday from March 11th through April 29th at 10:30 in the morning. For all ages are welcome for stories, music, action rhymes, and a craft. Art Club for Kids is the second Monday monthly at 4 p.m. and that's for grades 4K through 2. And March 9th, which is coming up, is Tricky 3D Shamrock and Leprechaun Traps. So you can come make those. We have Tween Art Remix the second Tuesday of every month at 4 p.m. for grades 3 through 5. And the March 10th is Colorful Printmaking. The Homeschool Club meets the second Friday of every month from September to April from 9:30 to 10:30 a.m. All ages are welcome from 9:30 to 10:30, and then we have younger kids from 10:30 to 11:30. We have a junior book club the last Monday of the odd months during the school year at 4 p.m. for grades 2 through 3, where we discuss a book with your friends and do an activity and have a snack. You can pick up the book at the library. March 30th book is Flora and Ulysses by Kate D. Camillo. We have a tween book club on the last Monday of the even months, so you have the junior on the odd months and the tween on the even months at 4 p.m. for grades 3 through 5. And you can, again, come and discuss a book with your friends and do an activity and have a snack. Books will be available in March for the April 27th book club, which is The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate. We have some new backpacks and launch pads for kids. We have 3 new story backpacks that have been added to our collection. We also have 4 new board game backpacks if you want to come check out some board games. And we have added some new launch pad collections. We have 4 new launch pad collections as well. Books and Brews for the adults will meet tomorrow night, March 5th, at Amery Ale Works at 6 p.m. So come on and join us there. The book this month they're discussing is Saving CC Honeycutt by Beth Hoffman. We have Third Thursday Crafting coming up, which is March 19th at 5:30 p.m. And they're going to be crafting paper flowers to celebrate the first day of spring. So you can come in and make yourself a paper flower to take home. And as always, you can see our website or go on our Facebook page to see any activities we have going on at the library. So, any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And Bones.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. Ben also took some of my stuff, as long as talking about taking things. Yeah, we are. I also was down there with Rick and Ben looking at them structures, and I know Rick's probably going to talk about how we're also going to put those out to bids. Hopefully we can get some of the local contractors to give us a little better price than what these pre-constructed buildings are. But moving on with that, Monday, the mayor and I met with SEH, Eric, on the Industrial Park Road. Jeff and I have been reviewing the plans to see if there's anything that we need or would like to see done there. We're about halfway through there, and everything's looking pretty good as far as that goes. Also met with MSA on the downtown project. I believe that was yesterday. And brought up the idea of a new lift station. I know I've discussed that with the mayor, and I know that'll probably have to come to a finance meeting, probably other meetings. But that was one of the things we discussed, and one of the reasons for that is because part of this project was to improve the sewer and the water, the infrastructure under Main Street, and I was hoping that they could put in new and lower sewer, but the only way to do that in order to drop the sewer, because there is quite a few of the buildings downtown that are susceptible to sewer backups because the sewers are so low. The sewer main is so high and their sewers run fairly flat. So I was hoping to improve that, and that is the solution that we came up with, and hopefully we can get that done. Also, after that meeting, Paul and I met with XL Energy on relocating some of the utilities downtown for some projects that are coming up. That sounded kind of, what I want to say, promising.
Expensive.
Also, the county's been in town spray patching again. The guys have been trying to keep cleaned up after they're done. They also caught that hole that you asked me about. I looked at it today. Looks pretty good. Also, I know that one of the things that we were looking at is a new roof on City Hall. We've had some more leaks here, and I don't know if it's because of the test holes that they put in or if it's just in such bad repair. I had the guys up there this morning. We were hoping to clean the roof off, but we determined that we'd probably do more damage up there than good. So we pulled them out of there. So I just wanted to let you know about that. We have a new patch trailer coming. It should be here in, a couple of weeks? Week or two. So you should see that around town. We're waiting for that to get here so that we can try that out and see how well it works. It's a heating trailer that we'll pull behind one of our vehicles, and we can get hot mix rather than the old winter mix. I used to call it oily rocks. It generally didn't stay in the holes too long, but also the crew's been brushing all over town, cutting back where as needed, as far as hanging over the streets, over sidewalks. Also, we're upgrading a lot of the old worn out street signs. They've been out there. With the good weather, I know people will be cleaning up in their yards, so if you need to get into the landfill, definitely call us. We'll get you in there. It doesn't really open up until May. Also in April, flushing will start. I'll probably bring that up again in the April meeting because I think it'll be after the meeting, but I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention because generally it stirs up the water pretty good, and I get quite a few complaints as to cloudy water or a lot of air in the lines. Also, I've had some calls, not really complaints, with the plow damage that's been done, and I just want everybody to know that we will be out there in the spring when the weather gets a little better, or early summer, fixing those ruts and things that may have happened in the boulevard. And also with the fire hall, I put myself a note here for picnic tables, because I'm assuming that you're probably going to need picnic tables again. Yep. Other than that, I don't see anything else I jotted down in there. Any questions?
Talking
Yes,
about
sir.
the downtown project in the sewer, are you putting, or talking about putting backflow preventers in there as well?
I guess
Since they
that
are
would,
susceptible to back up and,
that really wouldn't be on our end.
okay.
It's, it would have to be inside the business. And also, as long as we're talking about that, I think I asked the girls to send in the next newsletter if anybody would like a larger water service. Now's the time to let us know so that we can get that into plans. I'm hoping that all of the water services that go in are at least 1 inch. I know a lot of the old ones are 3/4 inch, and they're just not adequate. for a lot of the improvements that have been made, like the apartments
50
and
years,
things
right?
like that. So
Yeah.
hopefully, if anybody needs a larger water service, they'll let us know so that we can put that in the plans.
And you forgot to mention, I saw the Pelican roaming around today.
That's the sweeper.
Oh, okay. I call it the Pelican, sorry.
Okay, it's the Pelican's been cleaning up after the county and,
Yep.
and some of our, sand that we leave around all winter. Also, I got a request, somebody wanted to know how much sand and salt we put down. I don't know, I sent them back an email, I didn't know if it was a salesman or if it was a concerned citizen, but I haven't heard a response back, but, I've got a pile this big that I'll have to tally up if they do need to know that. So if it was somebody out there that wants to know, at least give me a call and I'll try to tally those up. And another thing, as long as you're talking about sweeping,
No, I was talking about Pelican.
the Pelican, in the past, just about every truckload of sand that we put out in the past, we generally pick up in the spring. I used to count that when I did the sweeping, and it's amazing that you get that much back, so. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Bones. Okay, let's start with committee reports. Public Works Committee, no meeting. Parks and Recreation, February 24th.
Parks and Rec met the 24th. As Ben and Bones both mentioned that we went that Wednesday and, or the Wednesday before actually, down to Chippewa Falls to Huff Cut. And we had been informed or have had people tell us that they made a good product, and so we went down and look at them in regard to the North Twin bathroom, the east bathroom in North Twin, which is really in tough shape. So we looked at them. They're all concrete. They have a 6-inch floor and 4-inch walls and a 5-inch roof, and everything is cement. They have shingle patterns in the roof, and they have half-round siding or rock or big stone or small stone. Sidewalls, as far as design goes. The one that we looked at and that we were concerned about had 4 either or stalls and 4 showers. So each one had a stool, a sink, lab, and a shower. And then that came with a small addendum on that's one building. And the guy said it weighs 70,000 pounds, so it comes in on a big truck. So then there's a small area alongside of it that would hold utilities where your water could come up, electricity and so on. So we have the ability to put outlets along the side of it to help facilitate our women's club art fair with power, because we're always, seems like we're short a little bit. But they're very well constructed, built like a brick. I mean, the doors were just, the hardware on the doors are at least as big as my thumb. They're 3/4 of an inch hinges, you know, so they, I don't know about anybody else's, but I don't know if I could wreck it with my pickup, so. Anyway, they look really good. We were really impressed. We saw the process that they built them by. The floors at least had 5/8 re-rod on, I believe it was 6-inch centers, crosses throughout the entire floor. So I don't think you could crack it by driving a Caterpillar over the top of it. It just it looked to be a well-constructed thing. Given the fact that we have to be competitive, we'll be asking for the ability to go to a bid later on in the agenda. But those particular specs were just impressive. And I think Tim said Clear Lake has.
Clear Lake actually has 2 of those buildings.
Has 2.
And
There are several around here if anybody's interested in looking at them. You didn't have to go to Chippewa Falls to look at them, but they're well constructed. So we'll be going out to bid to see if any local persons can bring us something similar. And the unfortunate part is, at least for Huff Cut, even if we let the contract by the end of this month, which we're hoping to do if we can get the bids in and get any other bids in time, we're still probably not gonna be available or not get them going till the end of June. So, which will be too late for this year for the arts and crafts, but that's the way it is, I guess. So, we'll be recommending going to bid. And then, let's see, what else did we talk about? Oh, we went to advertise for bids for the 2 mile and the 5K trail loop. And I don't think we're gonna have any bid, I don't think we got any bids back on that. And then we also decided to come up with an application process. The last 2 years, we've had a campground host in the North Park, and that's worked out really well for the city. We have folks that, and I don't mean that it hasn't had some bumps, but we have people that have come in there and stayed in the campground all summer long and did minor janitor type work and just supervised anybody coming in as to where they were parking and how they were parking and so on. Collected fees for us up there, and just generally kept an eye on things, and it's been really positive. Tom's not here, but I know that he mentioned last year in the fall that it's decreased the vandalism and the hangers-on in the park tremendously. So it's been a positive thing for the park in general. So so we supported putting together an application, and so that it'll be an annual thing. Just because you did it 1 year doesn't necessarily mean you get to, the person that's going to do it forever. So so that'll be coming out. We didn't think we needed to have a full council necessarily vote on an application process, because it will come back as far as who we get. So just didn't have a formal application. That was it, I guess.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Finance and Personnel, February 24th.
We also met on the 24th. We started out talking about the West Condo Association and the open records request that was made by the Free Press. We were able to disclose that the building project that is proposed is in excess of $6 million. Our city's portion would be about 2.1 million of that project. We also talked about Whispering Waters and Justin Hosking looking for forgiveness of road cost. We did not have enough information, tabled it until we get more information and hear from him in person. We discussed the schedule of fees for the city, including changing fees to building moving permit, garage sale permits, and kennel licenses, kind of clean that schedule up as well. We discussed employee personnel policies, did some updates to the policy as well, including amending the drug and alcohol-free policy, corrected a typo in the HIPAA section, and amended the verbiage in the bereavement section. We went into a short closed session to discuss a couple employee issues, and we came out and adjourned.
Thank you, Tim. Public Safety and Welfare.
Public Safety also met on February 24th, and we only had one item on the agenda, was the Fire Association Committee Agreement Review. Kind of as we talked about before, we discussed the difference between association committee, some of the documents that were drafted by Alderperson Leonard on the previous meetings, Again, it was decided at that time more revisions are needed, as we mentioned earlier, determine what it's going to be, a district committee, board, commission, whatever is going to go from there, that meeting. Our meeting was adjourned.
Thank you, Chris. Okay, moving on, consent agenda items. Now we have the minutes. We have minutes to approved.
Motion to approve the minutes from, was it the 5th of February?
Yep.
Seconded.
Oh, we got more on there.
You're gonna put them all on there?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
put them all on there.
Yeah, put them all.
The council, regular council minutes, the personnel, finance, parks and rec, and public safety meetings.
So we have a
I
motion.
amended my motion.
Okay, we have an amended motion on the table
An amended second.
and an amended second.
Amended second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's move on to new business. No ordinances, no resolutions. First item on the agenda here on new business is Ben Elfelt, Department of Forestry, Parks and Trails. And Bob Kaczmarski, you just here to view? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members, ladies and gentlemen. I'm the Parks and Trails Coordinator for Polk County. Bob Kaczmarski is the Division Director at the county, and as most of you know, we're working on the Stour Seven Lakes Trail Master Plan. Being that the trail is so central to Amery, we felt it was a good idea to come down and provide an update of where we're at in the process. The Environmental Services Committee made a recommendation with their alternatives, which was snowmobile alternative 2, or 3, adding snowmobiles to the entire trail, and then the equestrian alternative 2, which was adding equestrians to the total trail. There's going to be a public hearing on the 16th at Unity School. That's going to be, I think it is 6 o'clock. So Monday, March 16th at 6 p.m. Unity School. You can show up at 5:30 and register, get on the list to speak. But I don't really have any updates. I wanted to, be here if there's any questions.
I have a question on, if this goes through and the snowmobile is full length of trail during snowmobile season, and will that displace the foot traffic, or how is that going to work on a statewide level, because it's a state trail and it should be open to foot traffic?
Sure, thank you. The trail is always going to be open to foot traffic. Foot traffic is, you can never close it down to pedestrian traffic.
Okay.
So
We have potential safety thing coming up. Has the maintenance of it then been, I know so if it's open to the snowmobiles, the snowmobiles will take care of their grooming part and probably widen it and increase the height to get their big equipment through there. But what about in the summer? Have you worked with the Friends of the Stour to see if they are still willing to maintain the trail in the summer?
I have. I've talked to the Friends of the Stour a lot through this process.
Okay, I'm sure you have.
And expressed our our hope that they stay involved as much as they have been in the past.
Okay.
Because they've been such a big asset.
But so after we go through this public hearing, you'll have to come up an agreement with them and all the other interested parties here to have their jobs to move forward, or they're part of the master plan?
Correct. Yep. We'll have to go through that process after
Okay.
the public hearing.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? I know a lot of people are disappointed and a lot of people are happy, so we'll see what happens in the end. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, thanks, Ben.
Bob, did you want to say a couple words on behalf of your new position up at Polk County? And
No, I guess I'll piggyback on Ben's comments. We just thought it was important to reach out to you and just share with you the results of the Environmental Services Committee's recommendations. We just think it's a good practice to communicate
yeah,
with
I think so
everyone.
also.
And, it's still a process. Granted, we have elicited a lot of public input, but we're near to the point where we can draft the master plan, forward it on to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, and hopefully get some feedback from them. So, and you're right, the Friends Group has been a great stakeholder group and a steward of the trail. And so we hope to continue that relationship as well as build new relationships with the other user groups.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
So, if I have a question, so what's the purpose of the public hearing?
That's a great question. Because the Environmental Services Committee recommended these alternative uses, these new uses, the public hearing is an opportunity to provide feedback on that recommendation. So we're near the end of drafting the final master plan. Our staff is working on incorporating some other recommendations in terms of, because one particular important value of all the user groups is safety. So we're
Is what, I'm sorry?
Safety. Safety, right. So regardless of what user group you represent, that is a priority. So staff is taking the time to identify seasonality for the user groups, additional signage, speed limits, outreach education, and hoping to rely on those support organizations to work with us on that. So that's something on parallel that's going on, that we're incorporating the master plan as well. And hopefully at the public hearing, we can get some more feedback on some best practices. We are setting, this is a precedent we're setting. And so we'll see what happens once the county board, what they decide, and what they adopt and recommend to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Does that answer your question?
Not really, but, I wondered if it was, if there was any real reason to go to the hearing, because it seems to me all those decisions have been beat with a stick till they're dead.
Yeah, it's been, we've been mandated to adhere to NR 44, which is a transparent and inclusive public process, and we've done a lot of that, and we're hearing the same things, but we want to ensure that the DNR is satisfied with our process. But again, the intent of the public hearing on the 16th is to provide any feedback. I mean, it's a public hearing, you can offer any position. However, the real intent is to provide an opportunity to talk about these preferred alternatives that have been recommended by that governing committee.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Bob. Next on there is 4, award a bid for 2 trail loops. We did not get any bids in for that, so I will work with Patty to work with Warren White and Bones to see what it's gonna cost, so I can put in an estimate for grant funding for this right away, so we can move forward and with a reasonable cost. Next, schedule fees for implementation in an ordinance.
And I'd like to make a correction to that. I actually talked to our code company. We probably shouldn't put it in the ordinance, because there's parts of our ordinance now that has some fees, and I think it would be wise for us to remove those because they change so much. So I think we can still look at the schedule of fees. but probably not put it into the ordinance.
And then adopt it as just a schedule of
As a
fees to be
schedule of
posted
fees.
up.
And
Yep.
then they can,
Yeah,
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yep.
So then we'll move on to Employee Personnel Policies Handbook.
Hold on for a second. Do we need to approve those?
We should look at approving it.
Because
Yep.
we did that, because we did look at them and,
We did.
yeah.
So I'll make a motion to approve the City of Amery schedule of fees as presented.
Okay.
Seconded.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Can we go back to the two loops
Yes.
bid for a second? The bid, or the bids were due today at 2:00.
At
Did
2
we
o'clock.
get any, or?
No,
Okay.
no, I did not.
'Cause he talked about it, then moved on. I'm like, wait a minute, did
Yeah, we didn't get any bids, so,
And I had to
yep.
calculate quick what day we're on. So.
Okay, Employee Personnel Policy Handbook.
We reviewed that in personnel and made a couple corrections. There was a typo in the HIPAA area. There was a correction in the bereavement area, and there was a third one too.
I think we talked about vaping,
Yes, we added vaping to the no drug policy.
tobacco.
And to that effect, I make a motion, we approve the personnel manual as, with the added corrections.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, let's go back to the North Twin Lake Park bathroom bid advertisement.
Well, since that came from Parks and Rec, I guess, we were really, I think the three of us were really impressed and with that process. I'm not totally sure. Ben's probably come up with some good way to put that into a request for bids.
I actually did that.
Did you?
Yeah, I put it together.
Good.
Yep.
Something that, so we can hopefully get kind of apples
Right.
to apples when we bid, but.
And I pretty much said they could look at the specs. We'll show them the specs that are exactly
The floor plan at
the
least.
floor
of
plan
it,
and
yeah.
the specs
Yep.
for the Juniper.
Yep.
So that's kind of what I'm gonna put out there for everybody to
Yep.
see.
And so I would share the cost of that, but since we're going to bid on that and they've already shared their cost, we can't put that out for
No.
public consumption yet till we get the bids back in, so.
Yep.
Because they have, I don't know that they bid it, but they gave us a price.
They
on
gave us a
it.
quote.
Yeah, we don't wanna,
We don't wanna share that, no.
don't wanna taint the process there, so.
So basically, yeah, just
I'd
looking
make a
for.
motion that we go to bids for the North Park bathrooms, as long as they, and with the specifications, and floor plan similar to what we looked at, in Chippewa Falls.
I'll second that.
I see they're due the 24th. Will that be in time for the next Parks meeting?
That's my
And
plan.
that's where they'll
Yeah.
open it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's my plan.
Any more further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Campground host application.
That too came from Parks. It's just an application, I guess. I don't,
Yeah, and I kind of included in there, the description, so that you could have that. So if you look, you've got the application and the description, so, and the notice. So we could put it out for advertisement.
Yeah, I think you did a nice job on that. So
Thanks.
I'll make a motion to approve that campground host, I guess it's job description or duties, and also the application for that position. Oh,
And the ad?
And the posting?
yeah, yep.
Second?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next city council meeting will be April 1st, 2020.
Are you sure? You know what day that is, right?
Yes.
Did you notice it's still light out?
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We're adjourned.